what I'm going to do on this computer is I'm going to be putting some new thermal paste on the CPU. This computer is overheating and it's running way too hot. Even at idle, it's running 70, 80, which is way too hot. I'm going to take off the old thermal paste, and I'm going to be using, this is the Protonics series thermal paste. You can see that. You can see that. Protonics. And this is a very good quality thermal paste, so hopefully this will resolve the issue on this poor guy. So let's get started. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to remove this so we can get inside the computer. And this just has a couple of Phillips screws. And this just slides right out. Just like that. So there's the fan. So the first thing you want to do is you want to unplug the fan, which is this wire right here. And that's where it connects. If you look on the, I don't know if you can see with the camera, but it's labeled CPU fan on the motherboard. You're going to need a Phillips about this size. If you look in here, I don't know if the camera will pick it up, but there's 4 tiny screws, Phillips. Make sure you examine your fan, make sure it's clean. I just recently cleaned this, so it doesn't look like it needs to be cleaned. So we'll set that aside. Now on this, your heatsink, on this computer, as you can see, there's 4 bolts right in there. When I take this off, what's going to happen is there's a back plate behind the motherboard, and what's going to happen is that back plate's going to let loose. And so what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to partially remove the motherboard, just enough to get under there, and I'll show you how to do that. So it is kind of a pain, but at this point, what I suggest doing, I suggest getting a camera and taking a picture how everything is connected, because I'm going to have to remove some wires, some connections, and you don't want to face not remembering where everything goes. So just to back yourself up, take a picture of everything. First thing we take off is this. On this, right here, this runs away, goes to this first one right here. Here, second one, we're going to remove this right here. We're going to remove this. back here. Okay, in the back. I don't know if you can see it. Really hard to see in there. Right in there. Those wires are. I'm going to remove that. Remember when you put that back in, it goes all the way to the right. That. Now we're going to remove. You don't have to, but I'm going to go ahead and remove the memory. Get in here. And these wires. This out. That goes aside. Okay, so now what you have to do is these bolts here. There's a couple there. The ones with the white around them, you got to remove all those. Go through here and look for all of these. There's some in the back. There's one right there. There's one back there. So let me start doing that. Now just start removing these. I don't know if you guys can see with this camera. Make sure you ground yourself before you do all this. Make sure you don't have any static. Okay, looks like I got all the bolts off the motherboard. Let me double check. Okay. So now we can go ahead and take this off. So now we can go ahead and just lift up the cooler here. I guess some of them I didn't get all the way. Okay. Okay guys, I'm just going to use some paper towel to wipe it off first. So now I'm going to just clean it off with this alcohol. %. Hope you guys can see with this camera. Not sure where it's positioned, but and then you just do the same thing for this. So now we're gonna pull this up. I need to pull this out first of all. And I got one more thing here I need to take off. There we go. Now the metal plate, I'm going to set this up here like that. Metal plate I was talking about is this thing. So this thing is, so what we're going to have to do is, after I put the thermal paste, I'm going to have to hold that on there underneath while I connect the heat sink. So this should be interesting. I'll put it under there for now. So I'm gonna be real careful with this thing. Okay, I'll just put it like that so I can apply the thermal paste. Gonna have to be careful with that. So guys, I think that's dry enough from the alcohol, so I can go ahead and start putting this on. I want it to get all on the edges. That looks pretty good. And it's all around the edge. That looks good. Alright, so now comes the hard part. That in there. Start with that. So hopefully I could do this without any help. Okay, at least we got that first one. Yeah. Screws are falling. Maybe I can get that one in the back. This is worse than working on my Saturn, guys. Oh, my Saturn was bad. Man, I can't let go of the back. I think it's going in. Hopefully. Got that in there. That's hard to do one person, but I guess you can do it. It would probably be easier if I had some help. So, that's in, the plate's in. Alright. I can put this back.